Welcome back. Welcome in to the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog, where we discuss, honor, and celebrate all things college football across the entire landscape, but with a special emphasis on our beloved black and gold squads of the Missouri Tigers and the Iowa Hawkeyes. Welcome back. I'm your host, Blair Parks. Holla at you, boy. It's great to be back here with you. As always, I appreciate your time, your support, everything that you do for me and for the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. I always honor or ask for any likes, any shares, any comments. Please smash the subscribe button, as the kids say these days, all the cool kids. I always want any feedback that you could provide for me. Let's get the word out there, spread the love and joy to all college football fans alike and every member of the Black and Gold family. I've got a great episode lined up for you today. The regular season as well as conference championship week is in the rearview mirror. That's right, that can only mean one thing. Bowl season is upon us. It's the most wonderful time of the year. I know Christmas is right around the corner, and Merry early Christmas. Happy holidays to all of you. I definitely will be back with you a few times before December 25th. But to me, bowl season is a three-week-long Christmas celebration. Each and every day, it's like Groundhog Day. Wake up, repeat, watch bowl games, celebrate, enjoy them for everything that they are. Wake up, repeat. I love it. I absolutely love this time of year. It is the accumulation and the climax of everything college football. And what a great season we have been witness to so far. And if the bowl season is anything like the regular season was, we are in for a big-time treat. Can't wait. So on today's show, got a few things I want to update you on or share with you. It's been a couple weeks since I did the updated storylines and headlines across the college football landscape, dealing with the coaching carousel, some big-time recruiting news for both our Hawkeyes and our Tigers. And I want to give a shout out to some of the award winners for our Black and Gold squad members. Also, the Heisman Trophy field is set. We are here on the eve of the Heisman Trophy award being given out. I want to talk a little bit about some bowl preparation, and I want to spend a little bit of time talking and dissecting and really sharing with you why we need to give honor to America's game that takes place tomorrow between Army and Navy. So without further ado, let's get it done. Let's do it. All right, so let's start off with storylines and headlines. Want to bring you up to speed on the breaking news and everything that has absolutely gone wild in the coaching carousel. It just continues to spin out of control. Who knows where this madness starts? Who will be the next victim? It's basically just spreading like a plague. I know I hate saying that with the ongoing pandemic, but it is like a plague. Anybody who thought that they were safe as far as head coach, program, or fan alike, nobody is safe right now. Who knows who is next? This is so just all over the place. It is so random without any sort of sense. I can't believe everything that is going on, but if you've been watching throughout the season, I told you that we were going to see a coaching carousel unlike anything we have ever seen and may ever see again. This game of musical chairs and roulette just continues. So let's bring you up to speed on what you might have missed within the last week and a half. Notre Dame. Last time I was with you, the breaking news was Brian Kelly, like a thief in the night, left Notre Dame to be the new head coach at LSU. That left a coaching vacancy for the Fighting Irish. Last week, it was filled in a surprise move, a surprise hire. Notre Dame hired internally and hired former defensive coordinator Marcus Freeman as their new head coach. So they do hire in-house. So this is good. It's good for a continuity perspective, especially with Notre Dame. They are one of the participants in one of the New Year's Six bowl games. They'll be playing on January 1st. Can't wait to watch their matchup against the Cowboys of Oklahoma State. So this is a very safe hire, but it still just blows my mind that there they were. Notre Dame was an absolute in playoff contention. If Alabama would have lost, and then we saw Baylor take care of Oklahoma State, more than likely Notre Dame would have been the fourth team in the playoff. Well, at that point, they didn't even have a coach. That's crazy. It's absolutely nuts how we've come to this point in this sport. It absolutely blows my mind. Never would I have thought or said that I'll see the day that coaches would leave these destination jobs for another destination job, like Brian Kelly did, going from Notre Dame, blue blood, to fellow blue blood, LSU. But Notre Dame, new coach hire. Congratulations, Marcus Freeman. Oklahoma. Last time I was with you, I told you, too, the other breaking, ground-shaking news was Lincoln Riley leaving another destination blue blood job for another. He was hired as the new USC head coach, leaving a vacancy at Blue Blood, Oklahoma. That was filled last week. The new head coach at Oklahoma coming home, kind of a homecoming, so to speak. This man spent lots of time in Norman on the sidelines, most recently with legendary coach Bob Stoops. More news on Bob Stoops here shortly. Stay tuned for later in the episode on that. But they hired former Clemson defensive coordinator Brent Venables as their new head coach. Knows the program, knows the region, knows the expectations. I think it's a good hire, but a great hire. We'll have to wait and see. So congratulations to new head coach Brent Venables at Oklahoma. Virginia, another one really out of nowhere. Virginia is going bowling this season. Finished the season 6-6. Last year, they made the ACC title game. But about a week ago, head coach Bronco Mendenhall, formerly from BYU, decided to step down as head coach at Virginia, kind of in a surprise move. Nobody really saw that coming. But a few days after that, it was reported earlier this week that Virginia has hired former Clemson offensive coordinator Tony Elliott as their next head coach. Congrats, Coach Elliott. Now the Miami saga. And this really extends further beyond just what's going on at the U down there at South Beach. It had been rumored now for several weeks that Manny Diaz was on the hot seat. A new AD was going to be hired. The AD that hired him out. So he was absolutely coaching for his job at the end of the season. And I believe they did put together a little bit of a winning streak at the end of the season. They finished, I believe, 6-6 or maybe 7-5. So they are going bowling. But it had been rumored that Miami had reached out to Oregon head football coach Mario Cristobal, a guy who's from South Florida. That's his home stomping ground. But nothing ever materialized. Nothing was really legitimate. Nothing was confirmed. But as soon as Oregon was trounced once again, in the second time in 3 weeks by Utah, it came to the forefront more that Mario Cristobal was actually thinking about taking the job at Miami. But that's right, you didn't miss it. They had not fired or dismissed Manny Diaz. So there's this rumor of him going to South Beach to be at Miami, but Manny Diaz is still there coaching and recruiting. It made no sense. But it was confirmed earlier this week. It is going to happen. Mario Cristobal is leaving Oregon. He is now the new head coach at Miami, trying to get them back to relevance. So that's where we are. We have another blue blood opening at Oregon. And that job, as of now, today, is still vacant. So they fired Manny Diaz and then bring in Mario Cristobal. And this one really makes me sick to my stomach. I get it. It is the job, the line of work that these individuals are in. But basically, think about this. Think if you're Manny Diaz, and think of it, whatever your employment is, whoever you work for, whatever it is that you do to live, thrive, and survive. Let's say you hear rumors about somebody potentially taking your job, but you still are employed. And let's say that goes away. Basically, well, this person didn't want to come on board, so that's why we're going to keep you. That's exactly what was going on with Manny Diaz. That's awful to know, hey, I'm here as long as this other individual who is perceived as being a better hire than me, as long as he doesn't want to officially come here, I'm still going to be your coach. Woo! It is awful. This is an awful optic for Miami, but also for Oregon. I mean, it's really disgraceful that they really done him wrong, done him dirty, did Miami old Manny Diaz. So that's the breaking news in the coaching carousel. So who's going to be Mario Cristobal's replacement at Oregon? Stay tuned. I definitely will keep you in the know and updated as soon as it becomes official. So that's where we are with the updated coaching carousel. It continues to be off the rails, spinning out of control. Next thing I want to share with you, some more storylines and headlines in the world of recruiting. And wow, you talk about a shot in the arm. Big time news out of Iowa City. Iowa this week secured the commit of a huge top recruit. And now let me rewind this here. This is great news. Recently, if you remember about a month ago, Missouri was able to receive the commitment of Luther Burden. And Luther Burden at the time, well, I guess still is, he is the number one ranked wide receiver in the entire 2022 class, a 5-star. His final three, it came down to Alabama, Georgia, or Missouri. Now, he is a local boy. He lives just across the river in East St. Louis, so not too far away from Columbia. But he actually chose Missouri over those perennial powerhouses, Bama and Georgia. So what a huge recruit victory it is for Coach Eli Drinkowitz there at Missouri, especially during his ongoing rebuild job that's happening right now. And that was big-time breaking news, a reason to celebrate about a month ago when this became official. So to kind of review and recap on that, so huge recruit win there for Missouri, but Iowa had the equivalent of that 3 days ago, I believe this became official, that the number one ranked safety in the entire nation in the 2022 class, the 11th best prospect, an in-state guy at Iowa named Xavier Wampa. He chose Iowa as his destination next year. His final three, it came down to Ohio State, Notre Dame, or Iowa. And Iowa won out against those two perennial powerhouses. At Iowa and at Missouri, we're just not used to getting these level of recruits. Wampa is also a 5-star, just like Burden is. He is actually the second highest recruit ever in the Kirk Ferentz era while he's been our coach. And he's currently in his 23rd season. I mean, this is kind of uncharted territory, the undiscovered country, like basically the Star Trek movie that was an absolute flop. But we just aren't used to getting these kind of victories over those sort of rival schools. I mean, Wampa even had offers from Alabama as well, and Georgia, I believe. He could have really gone anywhere he wanted, but he's staying in state to play for the black and gold of Iowa, just like Luther Burden, even though he is out of state in Illinois, but staying local, staying nearby to suit up for the black and gold of Missouri. So big time wins along the recruiting trail. And I will definitely bring you up to speed next week, because next week, the 15th, here we are, today is the 10th, we're 5 days away from the early signing period on December 15th. Definitely expect there'll be some more big-time recruits to sign and commit to both Missouri and Iowa. I'll bring you up to speed on that after the early signing period is completed. So big-time news there along the recruiting trail. I mean, we are so excited in Iowa City to have Xavier on board. I definitely expect he'll see the field next year as a true freshman. Maybe not starting, but he absolutely will see the field, just like I believe Luther Burden will for Missouri next fall as well. So congrats. Welcome home to Missouri and to Iowa. So that is excellent for the 2022 classes for both our beloved black and golds. Next thing I want to get into is the current playoff field, which if you watched this week's episode earlier in the week, I did unveil to you and bring you up to speed on who the playoff field is. It has been filled. We know who it is, but I did say I wanted to further kind of dissect this a little bit, because I'm not quite sure they got the seedings right. The teams who are in, I absolutely agree. And those 4 teams, to recap, the 1 seed is Alabama, 2 seed is Michigan, 3 is Georgia, and 4 is Cincinnati. That's right, the glass ceiling has been shattered. A non-Power 5 program has crashed the playoff field. Congratulations, it's history in the making, folks. We are witnessing it right now, real time, in front of our eyes. So congratulations, Cincinnati. Like I said, I've got no problem with the teams who are in. No problema. I don't. But I don't agree with how they were seeded. And I'm going to share with you the way that I believe they should have been seeded on Sunday afternoon after the completion of championship weekend on Saturday. So this is what I believe. Based on how it played out, I would have ranked them like this. I actually would have had Michigan the 1 seed, Alabama at the 2, then Cincinnati at the 3, and Georgia at the 4. And here's why. Now, coming into the weekend, Alabama was 3, Georgia was the 1 seed. So they would move up. Alabama would move up as they should, based on the victory. And so would Michigan. They defeated a sound Iowa squad, but even though I think they just forgot to wake up and play that day, to tell you the truth, one of the worst things I've ever seen. I mean, I've seen bad Iowa losses. Kind of a sidebar here. I've seen awful losses, okay? There's no doubt about it. And Michigan, yes, is the better team. I expected them to win, but not in that kind of fashion. And it was one of the worst things I have ever seen. And trust me, I own several mirrors, if you catch my drift, okay? That bad. But I think Michigan should have captured the 1 seed. Like I said, 1 Michigan, 2 Bama, 3 Cincinnati, 4 Georgia. Here's why. When you look at Michigan and Alabama's schedules, and I have both of these pulled up right now, that I look at what Alabama has done, and yes, they defeated the number 1 team in the nation, previously undefeated Georgia, but I look at Alabama's schedule. Their best non-conference win is against Miami, and they were ranked at the time, but they ended up, I believe, 7-5 or 6-6. Miami, you played Mercer, okay, FCS school. They also played New Mexico State, which is a Division I independent, but they basically are an FCS dependent. Your best win for Miami definitely has to be over Ole Miss, who finishes in the top 10. They're in the Sugar Bowl on January 1st. But that's a 10-2, that's a 2-loss Ole Miss squad. You have a win over Florida, who went 6-6. You've got a win over your arch rival LSU. They finished 6-6. You beat a decent Arkansas team, but they have 4 losses in conference. They finished 8-4. And you beat your arch rival at Auburn, a game you shouldn't have won. You won the Iron Bowl against Auburn, and they finished 6-6. I don't really see why that's not a better profile to me than what Michigan has. I mean, and also what you lost at A&M, Alabama did, as an 18.5-point road favorite, so bad loss, no doubt about it. Yeah, you beat Tennessee, but Tennessee finished 7-5. I mean, I just don't see great wins on Alabama's schedule. I just don't. Now you look at Michigan's schedule. Their best non-conference win, they've got wins over Direction Schools, Western Michigan, NIU, Washington. And NIU, that's not a bad victory. They can say something that Alabama can't. NIU won the MAC title over the weekend. So they have a victory over a fellow Division I conference tournament champion. So they have a good win in non-conference. I mean, they won at Wisconsin, which is usually that sounds a lot better than what it was. Wisconsin was slightly down this year, but still, you go into Camp Randall and win, you're doing something right. So they won at Wisconsin. They did lose at Michigan State 37-33, one of the best games of the year throughout college football. They won at Penn State, but in that stunning defeat to get over that hurdle, that obstacle, that mountain of a team in The Ohio State University, 42-27, and then dismantled my Iowa Hawkeyes 42-3. They have a better resume. I don't see how you can say Alabama has a better resume than Michigan. Michigan has been more consistent. They have not been that pushed. And they started the season unranked. They were picked 4th in the Big Ten East. They've had a better year than Alabama has. They should be the 1 seed. My opinion only. And Georgia should have fallen to the 4. I look at their schedule. Who really did Georgia beat? They did not even show up to play in the SEC title game, giving up under 7 points a game on average throughout the season, and you give up 41 to Alabama? They got no shot, and they looked absolutely shell-shocked. They looked completely just demoralized. I have questions about that team's, where their mindset is, their confidence going into the college football playoffs, that game against Michigan. So I think Georgia, between the 4 playoff teams, they have the worst showing absolutely on championship weekend than anybody else. I think they should have dropped all the way to the 4 seed based on that. And maybe some of that was they knew, hey, we win or lose, we're probably going to be in. So maybe they weren't as motivated or fired up or tuned in, game face on, whatever. But still, maybe that took them out of that zone. But still, you cannot play like that. They should have fallen to the 4 seed. I'm sorry. I mean, Georgia didn't play anybody good from the other division in the SEC, the SUS. They didn't play Alabama. They didn't play A&M. They didn't. I know they played Arkansas. They got a good victory there. But they didn't play A&M. They didn't play Alabama. Didn't play LSU. I don't know. Maybe Georgia's not as good as we thought. Maybe not as advertised. Buyer beware, perhaps. Because nobody absolutely pushed them all season. When they were punched in the mouth and got down, they did not know how to respond. I mean, looking at their schedule right now, 10-3 win over Clemson opening week of the season. That's a Clemson team that struggled most of the year. They've turned the corner. They're playing their best football now. But that was 10-3. And their touchdown was off of a pick 6 by the defense. Other than that, the next closest game, their best win for Georgia is against a home game against Kentucky. And that was 30-13, a 17-point victory. That's not lopsided at all. Other than that, nobody else pushed them. What? Non-conference wins over Charleston Southern. Well done, Georgia, an FCS opponent. And then last game of the regular season against in-state rival Georgia Tech, 45-0. Georgia Tech is not going bowling this year, by the way. They are sub 500. I mean, who did you beat? So I thought Georgia should have been the 4. Or the other scenario that I think could have played out and I would have been fine with it is to have Alabama the 1, as they are now, Michigan stay the 2, Cincinnati the 3, but Georgia the 4. I think Georgia not getting the 4 seed, that is highway robbery to me. But then you have that, then you're going to have Alabama and Georgia face off again right away out of the gate, and absolutely the powers that be don't want to see that happen, which is totally biased when they say, well, we don't really want to have teams rematch. Complete BS, okay? Hate that. So that's what I believe. That's my comments, my thoughts on the current playoff field. I'm cool with the teams. I can't wait for the matchups, but I think they got the seeding wrong. Let me know. Comment. You agree, disagree. Like, share, subscribe. Let's keep it going. Next segment I want to move into, it's time to hand out and recognize some award winners and give recognition to the players who deserve it on our beloved black and gold squads. Several awards and recognitions have been handed out within the last week. Shout out, you best recognize, which I am right now. Let's start off with the black and golds of Missouri. Running back Tyler Beatty, do everything running back Tyler Beatty. He actually should be, if there was more of a wingback, running, receiving, does everything, hands down, is the make or break offense for Missouri. Tyler Beatty was named first team All-SEC as a running back selection. Well done, Tyler. He also was a finalist for the Doak Walker Award, which is given out every year to the nation's best running back. Those awards were handed out last night. He did not win the trophy or the award, but being one of 3 finalists, that's an accomplishment in itself. And he also was named SEC Scholar of the Year. So well done, Tyler Beatty. What a great season he had. Also, he was named a second-team Walter Camp All-American candidate, and he broke the single-season rushing yard record at Missouri with 1,604 yards rushing on the season. Well done, Tyler. Excellent. I bow down. I will give you a standing ovation here shortly. Harrison Mevis, the thicker kicker. He was named first-team All-SEC place kicker selection in the conference. Well done, Harrison. Michael Mayada, he was named a second-team All-SEC selection at center. And Makai Wingo was named to the SEC All-Conference freshman squad as a defensive lineman. So all of you Missouri award winners, I salute you. Hats off to you. Now for the black and gold of the Iowa Hawkeyes, there were also awards aplenty, especially after a 10-win season, winning the Big Ten West. You would expect that. Let's start off with the big daddy of them all, Tyler Linderbaum, Iowa's stud center, going to be playing on Sundays next year, just telling you right now. Tyler Linderbaum was named first team All-Big Ten as a center, first selection. And it was unanimous, just like Tyler Beatty was as running back. I forgot to mention that. He was also named the Big Ten Offensive Lineman of the Year. And last night during the award ceremony, he took home the Remington Trophy, which is given every year to the nation's best center. Well done, Tyler Linderbaum. And he was also named a Walter Camp First Team All-American. Congratulations. How's it feel to be an All-American? I gotta pay. Couldn't resist, folks. Couldn't resist. Also, we got Riley Moss for Iowa. He was a first-team All-Big Ten quarterback selection. Well done, Riley Moss. And he was named the Big Ten's Defensive Back of the Year. Well done, Riley. Charlie Jones. My guy, Charlie Jones. He definitely is going to make my all-name team. I'll give you that here in a couple weeks when I hand out my own personal awards. I'm going to have a special episode on that. So Charlie Jones was named the first team All-Big Ten selection for kick returner, and he was named the Big Ten Return Specialist of the Year. Well done, Charlie Jones. Caleb Shudick was named second team All-Big Ten as a place kicker. Zach Van Valkenburg was also second team All-Big Ten defensive end selection. Jack Campbell was also named to the second team All-Big Ten selection as a linebacker. Matt Hankins also named to the second team All-Big Ten as a cornerback. And also Matt Hankins was named a second-team Walter Camp All-American. Well done. And finally, Dane Belton was also named to the second-team All-Big Ten as a safety. So all the Hawkeyes, I give you an applaud, salute, hats off. Way to make us proud, and best of luck in your bowl games next season at the collegiate level or in the pros or wherever you are and whatever you end up doing. You make us all proud. So that's some awards. And now, the award. I'm going to bring you up to speed on the Heisman Trophy field. I did tell you this, the official Heisman field earlier this week, but I want to kind of further break down this, the 87th edition of the Heisman Trophy that'll be given out tomorrow evening at the New York City Athletic Club. And to recap, the 4 finalists, we have Alabama quarterback Bryce Young, Ohio State quarterback C.J. Stroud, Pitt quarterback Kenny Pickett, and Michigan defensive end Aiden Hutchinson. Those are your 4 official finalists. Well done. They had great seasons. But also, whenever you have a positive, there's got to be a negative. When you have an action, there must be an equal and opposite reaction. So what I am going to do with you, audience, Black and Gold family, I'm going to give you some Heisman Snubs. Those who absolutely also deserve to be in NYC, in the greatest city in the world. These 3 individuals absolutely deserve to be there as well. I know usually 4 or 5 is the max number they'll invite, and I'm not taking anything away from the 4 who made it. They absolutely deserve it, but these next 3 individuals absolutely got snubbed, and it really stinks. Smells. The first Heisman snub, I've been saying this for weeks now, my guy, the Western Kentucky quarterback, Bailey Zappi, his numbers this season. And right now, it's kind of a foregone conclusion. I mean, you might as well just rename tomorrow night's award the Bryceman, because Alabama quarterback, the Bryceman, see what I did there? Alabama quarterback Bryce Young is going to take home the trophy, especially with his Heisman moment in that big victory in the SEC title game over Georgia. You know, at that point, putting Alabama in the college football playoff. He is going to take home the trophy, but his numbers, good numbers. He ended up throwing for 4,322 yards, 43 touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. That's a great ratio. And a QBR of 88.9, one of the highest in the nation. But Bailey Zappi's numbers, 5,545 yards, 56 touchdowns. Yes, 11 interceptions. Not as good of a ratio. And a QBR of 77.3. He is probably going to etch his name into the chronicles of the NCAA record book. He is 288 yards away from breaking the single-season record for most passing yards, and he's 4 touchdowns away from tying most touchdown passes in a single season. I think he will do both in his bowl game. So Bailey Zappi should absolutely be there, no doubt about it. Also, Michigan State running back Kenneth Walker III. He ended up with 1,636 rushing yards, 18 touchdowns at an average of 6.2 per rush. Amazing stats. But the thing about this running back is if you take him off the Michigan State squad, they're at best a 6, maybe a 7-win team. He meant everything to his team. Nobody in college football this season meant more to their team than Kenneth Walker did. He absolutely should be there, representing himself, his family, the program, the Michigan State community. Kenneth Walker III, you got snubbed. You should be there. I mean, that's to me is a travesty. And the third, Alabama linebacker Will Anderson Jr. I mean, this guy's stats are sick. And I am fine having at least one defensive player represent the defensive side of the ball. The Heisman has now become an offensive award. It just has been. But I love seeing the defenders get there. And let me share Aiden Hutchinson's numbers, one of the finalists, and let me put them up against Alabama linebacker Will Anderson Jr.'s. On the season, Aiden Hutchinson recorded 33 solo tackles. That's a good number. 14 sacks. Good number, absolutely. And forced 2 forced fumbles. Now listen to these numbers by Will Anderson Jr. On the season, 52 solo tackles, 15 and a half sacks, but he did not force a forced fumble, so maybe that's the make or break stat if you're a Heisman voter, who knows. But his stats are better than defensive end Aiden Hutchinson's, and he's not there either to represent. These 3 individuals, they were snubbed. They deserve all the accolades, all the love and respect of Heisman finalists, so I salute my 3 Heisman Trophy snubs. It's crazy. I think any of you want to comment, agree, disagree. Is there somebody else who should have got some love? Maybe somebody who didn't get enough? Maybe somebody who's getting way too much? Comment, let me know. So that's where we are on tomorrow's Heisman Trophy field for the coveted Heisman Trophy Award given out tomorrow night. Next thing I want to get into, let me get a quick swig of water. We're doing great on time. And once again, thank you. It's only possible through your love, through your patience, through your support. I appreciate everything you do for me and have done for me this season. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing my passion, my love of all things college football with you. You're my MVPs. You're my Heisman Trophy finalists. You all deserve the award. If I could, I wish I could just pull an Oprah. You get a Heisman, and you get a Heisman, and you get a Heisman. To all of you, the Black and Gold family, my subscribers, and all my viewers. Let me get a quick swig of water here, then we'll move into my next segment. Next thing, I want to do a little bit of bowl preparation talk with you. Now, earlier this week on the episode, I did tell you because we have 42 bowl games this season. That's a lot, but hey, the more the merrier. I love it. So if I do my math correctly, divided by 3, that's 14. So I am going to have 1 episode a week on the first 14, second 14, and third 14 bowl matchups. Have kind of a little bit of not in-depth previews, but going to look at each one of those 14 bowl games and give you my predictions. The ongoing pick'em contest is still ongoing between me and my former co-host, Missouri fan number 1, the walking, talking Venus de Milo, Charlie. So I'm going to have 3 episodes of Bowl Bonanza. But today I just want to share with you some of my favorite matchups from the upcoming bowl season. That starts next Friday, I believe. I believe there's games Friday and next Saturday. And I've broken these down into 3 separate areas. Now, for the sake of this, obviously, my favorite are going to be the matchups between our black and golds. Iowa taking on Kentucky at the Citrus Bowl on January 1st, and Missouri versus Army in the Armed Forces Bowl on the 22nd of December. Those are my favorite matchups because I'm a fan. So what I've done for the sake of this segment, I have just left those 2 off the list. And these are my top 5 matchups among these 3 different subject areas. My top 5 of non-Power 5 versus non-Power 5. My top 5 of non-Power 5 versus Power 5. And my Fab 5 of Power 5 versus Power 5. So here's my Fab 5, my top 5 for each and every one of those 3 separate subjects and areas. Number 5 in non-Power 5 versus non-Power 5, a lot of 5s. Number 5 is the Cure Bowl on December 17th between NIU, the MAC champions, and Coastal Carolina. Grayson McCall, their quarterback, head coach, Jamie Chadwell, their mullets, they're beautiful. You got to be watching that game. Number 4, the famous Idaho Potato Bowl on December 21st. Kent versus Wyoming, high-powered offense. Wyoming squad that is super veteran and seniored at elevation. Can't wait for that one. Number 3, the New Orleans Bowl, December 18th. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns, in kind of a pseudo home game there in New Orleans. Louisiana faces off with Marshall, the Thundering Herd. Excellent matchup. I love this one. Number 2 in non-Power 5 versus non-Power 5. I've got the Frisco Bowl, December 21st. UTSA, the Roadrunners, Conference USA champions against San Diego State, the Aztecs, a team that spent most of the season ranked within the top 25. Love that matchup, 2 physical teams. And number 1 of non-Power 5 versus non-Power 5 is the Boca Raton Bowl, December 18th. Western Kentucky, that's right. Bailey Zappi going for the record books. Western Kentucky versus Appalachian State against a good brand, a good name, and Appy State. Can't wait for those matchups. Next area, we have non-Power 5 versus Power 5. So here's my Fab 5. Number 5 is the LA Bowl. Actually, it's the Jimmy Kimmel LA Bowl. I mean, that's crazy how Jimmy Kimmel's the main sponsor of a bowl. That's great. Maybe we all should, pot our money together in the Touchdown Black and Gold Bowl. That'd be great. But the LA Bowl, December 18th, Utah State versus Oregon State. I love this regional matchup. 2 teams who recruit the same area after the same guys. 2 physical teams. Love this regional matchup. Number 4, the First Responders Bowl, December 28th. The Air Force Academy and the vaunted triple option are taking it on the field against the Louisville Cardinals of the ACC. I love this matchup. Number 3 is the Birmingham Bowl on December 28th. Houston, we have a problem. The Cougars take on Auburn, a 6-6 Auburn squad. Brian Harson's first year as coach did not go as planned. Tough times down on the plains. I love this matchup. And number 2, the Gasparilla Bowl on December 23rd. UCF takes on Florida. I love this. The Battle of the Sunshine State. Gus Malzahn at UCF. Billy Napier at Florida. Huge recruiting battle in Florida. Both teams trying to improve, stay relevant, or get relevant once again. Love this matchup. And number 1 of non-Power 5 versus Power 5. How could it not be anything other than the Cotton Bowl, one of the college football playoff semifinals on December 31st on New Year's Eve, Cincinnati versus Alabama. It's got to be that one for all the reasons I've said through weeks and weeks of the show. Now, the last area of my Fab 5 is Power 5 versus Power 5. Number 5 is the Cheez-It Bowl on December 29th between Clemson and Iowa State. Clemson, definitely it's trying times. How can Clemson turn the page? They have played much better football at the end of the season. But if you paid attention earlier this episode, they are now without their DC and their OC who have moved on to head coaching positions. Is there some turmoil? Can Dabo Swinney weather the storm? Because some of the continuity there has been shaken and taken away against an Iowa State team that definitely that came in well under expectations this season. They were one of my playoff teams I predicted preseason. So there's a lot playing for in this game. I can't wait to see this game on the gridiron. Number 4 is the Gator Bowl on New Year's Eve, the 31st. Wake Forest, high-powered offense against Texas A&M, more of a physical, control the ball, control pace of play, SEC squad. Can't wait to see who comes out on top on this one. Number 3, the Alamo Bowl on December 29th. Oregon versus Oklahoma. I mean, yes, Oklahoma now has a coach. Oregon does not. But in this bowl game, the Turn Back the Clock Bowl. I love it. 2 blue blood programs. Mike Bellotti, the former Oregon head coach, the man who set the foundation there, he laid it at Oregon, is going to be the interim head coach for Oregon. And at Oklahoma, same man, the guy who brought them back, laid the current foundation at Oklahoma. Coach Bob Stoops is coming out of retirement to be the interim head coach at Oklahoma. Can't wait to see that game because of those storylines. Next one, number 2, the Orange Bowl on New Year's Eve. One of the other college football playoff semifinal. Georgia versus Michigan. I love this matchup. Georgia coming in a little bit wounded, a little bit maybe unsure. Michigan on cloud 9, more like cloud Atlas, where they are after beating Ohio State, beating Iowa, winning the Big Ten title game. I can't wait for that matchup. And my favorite, being the purist, the historian that I am, and plus I absolutely love the matchup this season. Even if I didn't, it still would be there because to me it's the pinnacle of college football. It is an absolute cathedral. It is hallowed ground. I'm talking about the Rose Bowl, January 1st. What a matchup. Ohio State and Utah. Can't wait to further break down these bowl games more in depth. Stay tuned. You're going to love my Bowl Bonanza episodes. So that's a little bit of bowl prep for you. If you like those matchups, you agree, disagree, let me know. But a shout out to all the matchups. I'll be trying to watch every bowl game that I can. Cannot wait. And now, lastly today, let me get another swig of water and thank you for everything once again. Love, give you a little Sammy Sosa today. Is I want to take a little bit of time to just tune it down, bring you in a little bit, more of a serious note. I want to talk about tomorrow's 122nd edition of America's Game between Army and Navy. I love this because this is why this game means so much to me. The spectacle, the pageantry of it, the cadets, the midshipmen marching together. At the end of the game, they sing each other's alma mater. It is an absolute full display of what America is and to celebrate this great nation. And that means so much more right now than ever. We have an ongoing pandemic. We are such a divided nation. Yes, I'm not making a political statement. This is not a political channel. You know that. We have so much division, so much hatred amongst left and right, young, old, red, blue. There is so much that we do not see eye to eye on. There is so much distrust. There is so much hatred. But this, whether you're blue or red, this game is all about everyone being red, white, and blue together. That's why this game is so welcomed. I love it. And this is a high-level rivalry. I mean, make no mistake, this is right there as heated as the Iron Bowl is or the Egg Bowl, Paul Bunyan's Axe, as any rivalry game out there. The game between Ohio State and Michigan. But the thing about this, you're not going to see any chippiness. You're not going to see any brawls. They will leave it all on the field. They will play till the final whistle with heart, with grit, with passion. But like I said, at the end, they come together as one and celebrate together as brothers and sisters in arms. And that's why I love this game. We need this game now more than ever. And to me, it's a bucket list item. At some point, I need to make it to this game. At some point in the future, I absolutely will. I am not a service former or current serviceman. I've never been in the service. I don't have any family who were either, but I still respect it, and I need to make it out there to this matchup at some point. But I love how tomorrow, this is the only game on the docket, as it should be. All eyes should be on America's Game. Enjoy Army-Navy. Normally this game is played in Philadelphia, but this year it's played in New York City, kind of to commemorate the anniversary of 9/11 that happened earlier in the fall. And just the commitment that these young men make to each other, to us as citizens, that if these seniors, this is their last game in this rivalry, after that, a minimum awaits them of at least 5 years of service to our country and to us, the citizens, average Joe average Jane American. So hats off, biggest salute to all of the participants in America's game tomorrow. You make us proud. I'll be watching. And the thing is, too, this game is not just a glance over. I mean, there is so much history between these two games and these two teams, granted, not like there used to be, but you look at the annals of history. Army has 3 Heisman Trophy winners. Navy has 2. So we have multiple Heisman winners among these teams and national titles. Army has 3 national titles and Navy has 1. So these games matter. These are big-time programs. Obviously, the heyday is gone since new academic standards. It's tough to enter these academies. So there is a lot on the line, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait to watch this game tomorrow to take it all in. So please, if you have time, take it in. Take it all in and understand exactly why it is so important. I love this game. I hope you do too. So hats off once again, all of the members tomorrow of America's Game. We are behind you, we salute you, and we support you. And thank you once again for all you do. Yes, this is usually why I wear a hat on the episode. But that's it. I really appreciate, once again, your time, your everything, your time, your support. You make this all possible once again. Next week, I'll be back with 2 shows. I'm going to have a special edition next week. I'm going to have about a 30-minute episode just breaking down the Armed Forces Bowl between our Missouri Tigers and Army. I'm going to have a special episode, going to have an updated storylines and headlines, and going to have my first episode of Bowl Bonanza, looking at the first 14 bowl games. So until next week, thank you for everything you do. Enjoy the rest of your day, your weekend. Have fun. Be safe. Peace, prosperity, progress. I love it. Until next week, thanks for joining me on the Touchdown Black and Gold vlog. Talk with you soon. Bye.